a burlesque dancer from New Haven, Connecticut. While serving in the military, Foxy was assaulted by a fellow service member. Excuse me. While serving in the military, Foxy was assaulted by a fellow service member. Claiming back her body through dance, Foxy tries to inspire others to stand up as a strong woman.
Just speak into it. Just speak into it. It's ready.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Let me start by saying how very honored I am to speak today in front of all of you, and how much more honored I am to represent a small group of women who can often be forgotten. Exactly 5 years before the statement that started this whole movement was said, I left home to become a United States Marine.
Hoorah!
After completing boot camp and combat training, I moved to the Navy School of Music in Norfolk, Virginia, to receive more specialized training in my specific job before being stationed at my permanent place of duty. In the short 5 months I've been enlisted, I felt a strong family bond with the other Marines I served with. We spent a lot of time together and depended on each other in both big and small ways. 2 months before I graduated from my school, I was sexually assaulted by a Marine I considered a friend and a brother, like I considered most of the Marines that I worked with. He was not only in my graduating group, he was the platoon guide, which, for those that don't know, it's simply someone who kind of oversees everyone in the platoon that attends the school. I told no one what happened. Like the almost 90% of female service members who don't report crimes against them, I was ashamed of what had happened and was more worried of losing the respect I had among the other Marines I worked with. It took 2 days after my assault for me to tell anyone, the first being my now ex-husband, who immediately blamed me for the crime against my body. His question, how could you let it happen?
Fuck him!
Fuck him!
Not physically.
That's why he's an ex!
And I never asked nor wanted to experience what happened to me. That same day, I went to the proper individuals in my command for help. I told them I wanted to press charges, and later came to find that a Navy girl was also pressing charges against the same individual I was.
Woo! Go, girls!
I went through the steps of an investigation. I spoke with NCIS and had regular meetings with my sexual assault representatives, all the while dealing with superiors who refused to remain neutral or supportive of my situation, looking out more for my aggressor than for me. I dealt with this coward, twisting the story and telling through his teeth and lying through his teeth to our mutual friends, leaving me to spend my free time alone in my barracks room, wanting nothing more than a friend to depend on. I continued my training and graduated on time with my class, leaving for San Diego on Thanksgiving of 2006. A few months after reporting to my new unit, I was informed that everything with my case had gone wrong. My NCIS investigator had mishandled my paperwork. And since there was no physical evidence, the man who assaulted me and at least one other woman would continue his schooling and join the fleet shortly. The very next day, I was told that 3 other female Marines back at the school came forward with naked photos, crude texts, and claims of other unwanted sexual advances by the same Marine.
Bullshit!
Administratively separated from the Marine Corps, which truly, for the crimes he committed, is the equivalent of a slap on the wrist. He is one of the 74 to 85% of aggressors who leave the military with better than a dishonorable discharge.
Bullshit! Bullshit!
His charges will never be known and will never appear on his record.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. Currently, the man who assaulted me lives in Texas, where he still proudly claims the title of Marine, attends school, and lives a life with seemingly no regrets. He even had the nerve to friend me on Facebook a couple of years ago. But sadly, my story of military sexual trauma, or MST, is not unique. Women who serve in the military are twice as likely to be sexually assaulted as if they were in the civilian world, which does little for our safety anyways, considering how often we're sexually assaulted anyhow. But just last year, the Department of Defense reported 3,158 cases of sexual assault. Take into account that 90% go unreported, and you have 31,580 cases for 2010. Think about how many military members you know. Now think about how many of those military members are female. Within the military, this is a huge number. And why should female service members come forward? As much as the military says that they want to encourage reporting these events, whether restricted, where no criminal charges are filed, or unrestricted, where they are filed, they still send mixed messages and blaming the victim. On the Marine Corps Community Services frequently asked questions page about sexual assault, they answer the question, how do I handle the reactions and criticism of others when they learn about my sexual assault? Their answer, you were sexually assaulted against your will, even if you may not be happy with some of your choices.
Bullshit!
Nowhere on the page does it simply say it's not your fault. And the injustice doesn't end there. Even our veterans are left out in the cold. 25% of the homeless are military veterans. Over 70% of those are thought to be suffering from MST. Why didn't these individuals seek help, you may ask? When filing with the VA for health issues stemming from a sexual attack, veterans must supply evidence. This is nearly impossible when sexual harassment paperwork is kept no longer than 2 to 3 years before being destroyed.
Bullshit!
This means that a soldier can be assaulted early in their career and lose the paperwork before they even finish their full term of service. Why are these reports destroyed after such a short period of time? The military tells us it's due to shortage limitations and evidence viability.
Bullshit.
With the day and age we live in, I find this hard to believe. 2/3 of those who are lucky enough to find their original paperwork and file with the VA for post-traumatic stress disorder stemming from their sexual trauma are denied. From the start,
No more!
exactly, no more! From the start of women being able to serve to present, victims report lack of confidentiality, protection, support, and access to legal counsel. California Democratic Representative Jane Harman said a woman who signs up to protect her country is more likely to be raped by a fellow soldier than killed by enemy fire.
Yep. Bullshit!
If you were to walk up to a service member and ask them, would you sacrifice yourself to suffer sexual trauma if it meant someone else wouldn't? I am confident that they would say yes, just as they would if you were to ask them to lay their life down for their country. These are the people, both male and female, who are sacrificing not just their lives, but their minds and bodies for you. I'm not standing here looking for sympathy, nor am I standing here asking you to place sufferers of MST on a pedestal. I'm simply here to bring this to public knowledge, to let the government know that it's not okay, that no is not a choice for me to feel unhappy about. It means no. Now I've given all of you the power to help those who watch your back day in and day out. What are you all going to do about it?